going on, guys? Snake Eyes here, playing some more Dark Souls 2, and in this video we're going to be doing a weapon showcase, and the weapon we're going to be showcasing today is the DrakeKeepers sword. Now if you don't know how to get this weapon, all you have to do is make your way up to Dragon Airy, farm the DrakeKeepers that are using this weapon, and eventually they'll drop it. I say eventually because it's a pretty rare drop. I don't know the percentage or the drop rate chance with this weapon, but I know when I farmed for it, it actually took me a really long time. I ended up going through, I think, 2 of the DrakeKeepers spawns completely, and I only got 1 DrakeKeeper sword out of it. But with all that being said, it's actually really worth it. It's one of my favorite swords in the game. Right beside the Sun Sword. The Sun Sword is actually another really good straight sword that I do recommend. And other than that, that's how you get this weapon. Now we're going to go ahead and go into the details of this weapon. Since then, I've actually upgraded mine to +10 and infused it with dark, so my base damage is at 171 with a base damage of 171 in dark. It has 100 counter strength, it does 25 poise damage per hit, it has 70 durability, and it weighs 6 pounds. The requirements for this weapon is that you need 16 strength and 8 dexterity, and you get a C scaling in strength, a D scaling in dexterity, and a B scaling in dark when you infuse it with dark. This is a weapon that there's really not a bad thing that I can say about it. There's really no cons that I can think of. One of the only cons that I really can think of is that it's pretty hard to get. That kind of goes for pretty much any weapon in Dragon Airy. Not only are those enemies really hard to kill, but at the same time they have a really low probability in dropping not only their armor but their weapons as well. But other than that, once you get this weapon, there's really not much else that's wrong with it. It's a little on the heavy side, but when you compare it to every other weapon in the game, it's really not heavy at all. One of the major pros of this weapon, though, is that it has the Broadsword Moveset. Now, the Broadsword Moveset doesn't have a thrusting move, and I'm pretty sure all you guys know by now that thrusting moves are actually one of my favorite moves to do in this game. Even though it doesn't have a thrusting move in its entire moveset, it's still actually a really good, decent moveset. What I really do like about it is that it has a lot of horizontal attacks, and what that can pretty much allow you to do is keep full-on pressure with your opponent. I like playing really aggressive, and this weapon is actually really good at being able to consistently be aggressive against any person that you're playing against. If you're playing against people who have heavier armor, though, you're going to notice that the damage that you do is going to take a big drop. But at the same time, like I said, if you're playing against regular medium armor, light armor enemies, you actually be really surprised at how well you can keep pressure with all the attacks. Another thing that I ended up really liking, and I didn't like it at first, was the R2s, the one-handed R2s. The one-handed R2s are kind of tricky in the sense that parrying them is something that takes a little bit of practice, and that's good for you. And also that the attack comes off slow. It has a really slow startup, but once I guess your character's animation gets to a certain point, the attack actually is really fast, and then when you follow it up with another R2, it's just as fast as the first R2. So at the same time, when somebody's looking at it, it kind of looks like you're gonna do a slow attack, so they want to try to interrupt it real quick, but then your character kind of just snaps from one side to the other, and then like I said, when you go ahead and you push R2 again, you're gonna do the same thing. And it's actually been really handy for me. People have tried to walk up on me while I was doing that attack, and that's pretty much made me win the battle. It being an R2 is added damage for you, so that's also a pretty good plus. And all in all, this weapon is actually not a bad one. I definitely recommend picking it up. I'll be honest, it took me probably about an hour or so to get this weapon in the first place, and when I got this weapon, I have to say it was well worth it. It, like I said, took a really long time, but it's something that I really do love. When I stopped recording for this weapon, I still used it for probably about 2 or 3 hours, and that says a lot about this weapon, at least for me, because once I get footage for one weapon, I have to go on to the next one. And with this weapon, I really didn't want to do that. I kept playing with it, I kept using it, and all in all, it's become one of my favorite weapons in the game. In all honesty, I've been doing this for a while now. I've been doing it since the game came out, and I've been really surprised at the different types of weapons that I've ended up really loving. I have pretty much a weapon in almost every class that's a go-to weapon that I really do like. This one and the Sun Sword are, I guess, my go-to weapons for the straight swords. My one con about the Sun Sword is that it was a short. I guess the blade was a little short for me. With this one, I don't have that problem. The blade is a decent enough length. It has a moveset that can pretty much allow a player to be aggressive, and if that's their play style, then that's something that they're really gonna love. And all in all, I really can't say enough good things about it. I definitely recommend you guys to pick it up if you haven't already. And other than that, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. If you guys can think of a con, be sure to go ahead and listen in the comments below, because in all honesty, I can't come up with one. So like I said, if you want, you can list it down there. If you have any other pros that maybe I didn't talk about or I didn't say, go ahead and leave that down there as well. But other than that, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, take care.